Go to Atlanta because, of course, Martell and I have children together. So it's important, while I do need time and space away, it is still also important for me to be, in an area or a distance that's not too far, so that there's not an issue when it comes to exchanging the kids and custody and things of that nature.
Tisha was talking about Kiki May. She rest in peace. Tisha spoke about how hard Kiki's passing has been for her and shared that on her birthday, Kiki would always reach out, even if they weren't on the best terms. So, of course, this year felt different for her, and she got emotional talking about it. Now, here's where things got messy. Miss Wanda started going off. She began by calling out a certain blogger, saying they need to stop talking about her and her daughter. She also said she doesn't play when it comes to Kiki. But here's what's interesting. When Kiki was alive, Wanda and Tisha had plenty to say about her online. They were always arguing or shading her on social media. And now that she's gone, suddenly everyone wants to act like they were always there for her. That's not fair. Wanda also started shifting blame, saying things that sounded like she was blaming Melody Shari and the millimeters for what happened. That's wild to me. She even mentioned something about the woman who fired her on national TV, trying to connect that to Kiki's situation. Let's be real. Melody was the one who helped bring Kiki on the show. Production asked her to make a tough decision. That's part of her job as a producer. You can't now turn around and blame her for everything. It's just nasty work. Especially when we all saw how Kiki was treated by her own family members, Tisha and Miss Wanda included. You can't rewrite history. You can't gaslight the audience and act like y'all didn't do anything wrong. It's okay to admit mistakes. It's okay to feel guilty or wish you'd done things differently. But blaming others, especially Melody or her supporters, isn't the way to heal. If we got $1 every time Melody was blamed for something on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, we'd all be rich by now. Everything that happens, somehow, it's her fault. Ratings drop. Melody's fault. Cast drama. Melody's fault. It's exhausting. Let's talk about accountability. When Kiki came on the show, they treated her like an outsider, like she didn't belong. There was so much tension and disrespect. And even after her passing, most bloggers I've seen have actually been very respectful. I haven't seen anyone blaming Tisha or Wanda for Kiki's death. Have you? Let me know in the comments, because from what I've seen, most people have handled the situation delicately. People understand what it feels like to lose someone and wish they could have said more, maybe I love you or I'm sorry. Everyone can relate to that. But that doesn't mean you project your guilt onto others, Miss Wanda. If by any chance you hear this, that guilt you feel, that's your conscience. You need to work through that privately, not by blaming Melody or the millimeters. Take time to reflect. Maybe talk to a therapist or pray about it. But stop dumping that energy on other people. 'Cause honestly, if the pattern continues, if you keep talking about folks with that same anger and bitterness, what happens when the next situation arises? Will you feel guilty again? Will you blame someone else again? At what point do you look in the mirror and say, maybe it's me who needs to change the way I show up? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. What do you all think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a post. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, lovelies. Also, before I wrap this up, I want to make something clear. This isn't about dragging anyone. It's about calling out behavior that keeps repeating over and over again. Accountability isn't about shame, it's about growth. And sometimes, growth starts when you stop pointing fingers and start doing some self-reflection. I think Wanda has the potential to show a softer side, to really connect with people if she let go of that defensiveness. But as long as she keeps deflecting and blaming others, she's never going to get the healing she clearly needs. And you know what? This situation should be a reminder to everyone. Give people their flowers while they're still here. Don't wait until someone's gone to suddenly remember all the good things about them. If you've got unresolved issues with someone, try to make peace. Even if you can't fix everything, at least say your piece so you're not left holding on to guilt later. Life is short, and no show, no drama, no ego is worth losing real connections over. So let's hope this serves as a wake-up call, not just for Wanda, but for everyone involved. Healing doesn't come from rewriting history or placing blame. It comes from honesty, from accountability, and from being real enough to say, I was wrong and I want to do better. All right, lovelies, that's it for today's recap. I want to hear from you. Do you think Wanda's reaction came from guilt? Or do you think she genuinely believes what she said? Drop your thoughts down below, because y'all always come through with great perspectives. Don't forget to like this video. Share it with someone who follows love and marriage, Huntsville, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that bell so you never miss when we drop new tea and thoughtful commentary. I'll see you next time right here on Reviews and Recaps. Stay kind, stay grounded, and as always, protect your peace. My lovelies. And before we really close out, I just want to say this. Conversations like these aren't about stirring more drama. They're about growth, reflection, and accountability. Because at the end of the day, love and marriage, Huntsville might be a show. But these are real people, real families, and real emotions involved. When we talk about things like this, it's not from a place of hate, but from a place of wanting. To see people do better, treat each other better, and actually break the cycles of hurt and blame that keep repeating season after season. Honestly, it's tiring seeing the same patterns. People refusing to take responsibility, constantly shifting blame and pretending like their hands are clean. Growth comes when you stop performing for the cameras and start being honest about your own part in the mess. We all make mistakes. But the difference between staying stuck and moving forward is whether or not you're willing to own those mistakes. And to the viewers, supporters, and fans, let's remember to lead with empathy. 2. We can call things out without tearing people down. We can hold folks accountable without being cruel. Because when it comes down to it, everyone is fighting a battle we don't always see. That's why it's so important to give grace, even when you're disappointed or hurt. So, moving forward, I really hope Wanda takes some time to reflect and find peace. Not just for herself, but for her family and for the memory of Kiki. Healing doesn't come from pointing fingers. It comes from acknowledging your part and making peace with it. And maybe, just maybe, this will be a turning point where people finally realize that accountability isn't the enemy, it's the path to growth and freedom. All right, my loves, I think that's where we'll end it today. Thank you so much for watching and for always keeping the conversation respectful and real in the comments. Y'all are truly the best part of this community. If you enjoyed this recap and thoughtful discussion, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with someone who loves love and marriage, Huntsville, and subscribe so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay kind, stay aware, and always remember, healing starts with honesty. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, lovelies. And before I officially sign off, I just want to leave y'all with one final thought. Peace is a choice, but accountability is the foundation that keeps it steady. You can't truly have one without the other. If you spend your time deflecting, blaming, or attacking others, you're only delaying your own healing. And I really hope Wanda takes this season of her life to do some deep self-work. Because, no matter how loud you talk or how defensive you get, guilt doesn't go away until you face it head-on. And once you do, that's when real peace begins. I also hope this situation reminds the cast, and honestly, all of us, that life is too short to keep replaying the same painful cycles. Forgive people while you can, apologize if you need to, and choose compassion over pride. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And it's the kind of strength that builds lasting legacies, not broken relationships. So, if Wanda or anyone else on the show happens to come across this video, I hope they hear it with love and not offense. Because the truth is, a lot of viewers actually want to see growth. We've seen enough arguments, enough chaos, enough finger-pointing. What people are really craving now is maturity, real reconciliation, authentic healing moments that show evolution, not repetition. At the end of the day, love and marriage, Huntsville has such a powerful platform. It's a show that can inspire people, especially when it leans into the realness of family, forgiveness, and redemption. But that only happens when folks are willing to own their truth and stop hiding behind excuses or old grudges. So here's my hope that this situation doesn't